What's going on, traders? Brittany Hughes here, and welcome to another top tier virtual interview. Again, the landscape is a little bit different. I'm not in the studio, in the comfort of my home. And I am joined by a very special guest who is a part of our top tier trader community. Now, in the month of May, we are celebrating and honoring and appreciating women who trade, but specifically mothers who trade, in honors of Mother's Day. And so, with that being said, I have Hope Knight here with me, and we are going to dive into the nitty gritty details of Hope's journey in terms of trading and also being a mother who trades. So, let's just dive right into the conversation. Hope, how are you today?
I'm good.
I just again want to say thank you so much for agreeing to have this conversation. Like I just mentioned before we got rolling, that in general, there's not a lot of women in the top tier trader Discord channel, just simply because there's not a lot of women who trade. And then to add on top of that, being a mother is again is such a niche ask. And so I'm just so happy that you agreed to be here.
No, thank you so much, Tracy.
Yeah. Hope, will you mind letting us know what your biggest payout has been through top tier?
Okay, so through top tier, after the 90% split, it was 11.2 thousand.
Which is insane. And when was that? That's crazy.
That was the end of March, actually.
Okay, congratulations. That was recent.
Yeah, it was pretty recent.
That's awesome. Absolutely. So let's dive right in for those who don't know your story, who will be a majority of the individuals who are tuning into this interview. Let us know how you got started in trading.
Yeah, so to make a long story short, I started like most of the people in our community, IML. I come from a musical background, so I actually graduated high school when I was 16 years old with the desire to move back to Las Vegas and pursue music. My parents weren't feeling that, so I went straight to university from there and was still trying to find ways to actively pursue some type of entertainment industry path. And I got into broadcasting. In that time, I built a pretty big following and ended up meeting a comedian on there who was also trying to find a route that didn't involve having to sit in front of a camera and be who everyone else wanted you to be. Not like this NPC culture people has. Broadcasting did have some type of substance back then.
Sure.
Um, and as a woman, I grew up on the broadcasting scene. I did it from 17 to 22. I'm 25 now. Obviously, I look a lot different than what I did then. And it was hard getting on every single day knowing, oh, this person's going to expect me to smile a certain way. Because when you're broadcasting, you're paid by tips, you're not paid a salary. So days I was on there for 2 hours and I'd do 400 bucks. Other days I'd be on there for 4 hours and I'd do like $30 and it'd be stressful. And trying to keep a smile and knowing I'm going through things mentally. And I was also in school full time. It was a stressful thing. So I kind of hit my breaking point with it when I hit about 19. I was tired of getting online and having to look and present myself a certain way. And I was looking for that career path that would allow me to get away from that altogether. Love singing, still a passion of mine. It's just not something I want to do as a career.
Mm-hmm.
So there was a guy, his name was Corey, who got introduced to IML. And of course, he told me all the bells and whistles. He's like, hope you're an introvert. You'll like this. You can look however way. And I was sold by that. So they did a boot camp essentially with IML. So we can kind of get a feel of what trading was. And I'm someone who recognizes patterns very easily. So I automatically thought, okay, these candlesticks looks like stairs and ladders. If I could just catch the stair or the ladder, I'll be fine.
Mm-hmm.
And actually in my first week, I did $30 on a signal. And I'm like, okay, this is it. I'm going to do this. And fast forward, I ended up losing my job in finance and asked God, I was like, oh my goodness, please let me know if this is for me. And I made $1,000 not knowing what I was doing on a $200 account. And
Wow.
from that point on, I was like, this is what I want to do for the rest of my life. And then came the stumbling block because I feel like everyone can make money when they're stupid, but once you actually know what's going on, it just becomes a lot more difficult. And I was not prepared for that, but I can say without a doubt, I never thought about quitting trading.
Oh, I want to dissect what you've just shared. Well, first of all, I feel like we have a lot in common because I was in I was in broadcast journalism as well, or in my late teens, early 20s.
Yeah.
And yeah, to your point, being able to find something that doesn't require you to be like physically on all of the time. I will say that trading requires you to be mentally on when you're sat down and you're focused. So I really resonate with you in that point. And then also when it comes to the making $1,000 on a $200 account, that's probably a bit of over leveraging if I could guess,
Of course it was. I
but
was on
also
camera
but
taking
also
a
it yeah broadens your like what's possible ultimately, like it's your signal for what's possible. So from there, did you continue your education through that academy, or did you seek out different mentorship and guidance to help you actually gain the skill?
Got it. So here's the thing. I was very, very arrogant when I got into trading. I can formally admit that. Like I said, graduating at 16 and having kind of a path of success early on, just academically, I thought I could do this however I wanted to.
Sure.
So the thing with IML was I quickly learned the culture, and some of the guys and the women, they were like, oh, well, you look XYZ way, so you should recruit now.
Mm,
Like, this is not why I'm here. So I gracefully bowed out and decided I was going to learn my own way. Of course, my influences are like Q Banks. I mean, I was on KOT, Swaggy C, Doyle Exchange, people like that. I used for, I guess, motivation, but I
sure.
knew that I was going to find the information. It was going to take some time. And someone who was big on academics, I'll take however long it takes to find the information I need. And so I can say I've never had a mentor. I scoured YouTube almost 15, 16 hours a day and
Wow.
just tried to figure out what worked for me. I believe strategies in currency pairs are a lot like people. They all have their own personalities, and the only way you're going to find what works for you is if you test them all and tweak it. Like, I've done Fibonacci, I've done supply and demand, I have tried Bollinger Bands, like I have done it all. And it took me a good, so I've been doing this 4 years now. I'll say 3 years to really find what fit my personality and that I could do long term.
Okay. And how has that evolved for you since that point in time? Like, what is it that you're looking at now when you're logging onto a chart?
So, as far as strategy wise, or just
Yeah.
overall,
Yeah.
so I am a basic support and resistance trader. I trade the
Okay.
2 chart, and you can call it supply and demand. I don't really think of it that way. I look for one candlestick pattern, a 2 candle bearish or bullish engulfing. I am entering no matter what. My levels are based off of daily levels, and I take my risk to rewards very high. I average about 1 to 4, 1 to 5, and I take 2 trades a day. That's
Yeah,
it.
that's amazing. What do you
Simple.
typically trade? What do you typically trade?
I only trade US 30. And
Okay.
I started trading US 30 because back in IML, when all of us were over leveraging our accounts, people were like, don't touch US 30. And again, hope being arrogant at 19 years old was like, oh, I'm going to touch it. And so I have worked to figure out US 30. And I think I've done it at this point.
And so you only trade New York session,
Oh,
I presume.
New York session. Yeah,
Okay.
my son's not going to let me trade London.
Yeah, no, I bet. I want to shift gears into that conversation a little bit, because I know being a mother is a full-time job, and being a trader, to not only learn the skill set, but to master the skill set, you also have to treat it like a full-time job. So how have you been able to manage doing both in the last, you say your son is 2 years old?
Yeah, he's 2 years old.
Okay.
I've been trading for, it'll be 4 years this July, actually. In fact, the first company I was funded with was actually FTMO. I think that's where most of us came from in the
Sure.
funding world. And my second FTMO account that I passed, I was actually pregnant with my son. So I can't say a whole lot has changed with the way that I go about trading. He's my little junior analyst. He's my
Mm.
buddy, always on my lap. Like I said, I trade full time. So typically when I'm getting up in the morning at 7, we're having breakfast and I'm putting him in his high chair so I can go get in the charts. If he gets out of it, he's climbing up and he's looking at all the buttons and whistles on my computer. But honestly, I think the biggest impact motherhood has had on my trading is working on my patience. And
Mm.
I don't think any trader can say they came into the game with 100% patience. I know, like, my temperament needs a lot of work. Just ask my husband. But having to constantly keep a certain demeanor with my son has had me be a little bit more clear head when getting on the charts. I mean, no one has 100% win rate. I don't care what you say. So dealing with those losses and those uncertainties, motherhood's kind of prepared me for it, I should say, helped me in those areas.
I was going to ask you, what do you think has had more of an impact? Has trading made you a better mother, or has being a mother made you a better trader?
I think that's such a loaded question, but I think it's both. Trading is uncertainty, and that's exactly what motherhood is. I had no plans to become a mother. I'd actually sworn off becoming a mother. I have several nieces. So when I got pregnant, everyone was like, no, not Hope. I remember calling my twin sister being, I'm pregnant. I was so distraught. And during all this, I was actually in an active challenge with, I believe, my Forex funds, another prop firm at that point.
Yeah.
And so I think just dealing with the uncertainty of trading has prepared me for all things Malachi. Not one child is the same. All these benchmarks that people have to kind of compare and contrast their kids. Just like you can't compare and contrast your trading journey with someone else, you cannot compare and contrast your journey as a mother, other than, we all share tiredness. I'll say that. But outside of that, no journey is the same. My twin sister and I, we actually have boys around the same age, and we are going through very similar journeys, but at different times and at different speeds. And all we can do is empathize. So I think that's the biggest thing for me right now.
Do you think when he's old enough to comprehend what the heck is going on, do you think that you'll pass the skill set to him?
Oh, I'm a firm believer at this point, since I've done academia. I don't think that it's right for me to force academics on my son. I would much rather him pursue some type of trade or some type of skill. I know, like I said, if I blow another account tomorrow, you can't take away the fact that I've already learned the skill set. I've spent 3 years on it. Whereas when we were younger, we were told, if we go to college, we're going to get a great job, we're going to make tons of money. And that's not the case. That's not the climate that we live in. And we live in a time where we have to be creative. And I rather instill in him, hey, you've got to get creative about your means, than, oh, go to school and be an English major and be a teacher. And like, no, I'm not going to do that. I definitely want to pass on trading to him, or whatever he has interest in, whether it be blue collar or not.
I feel that, I mean, even kids are so intelligent. Like from the moment that they're born, they have this innate intelligence about them. And I just can only imagine from a young age of 2, and even before that, he's definitely picking up on what it is mom is doing. And
no, he absolutely is. So my son is not speaking yet, but he knows when a certain screen, which is the trading view screen, because my charts are very colorful. I'm a girl in that area. He knows when that chart is on, he's not supposed to touch mommy's laptop. But it does not stop him from going and trying to tap on it and scroll. He knows how to zoom into the candles. And I'm like, dude, who taught you this? I definitely didn't. He's actually placed trades before on accounts. And I'm just like, why? But it's like, you go, son. And meanwhile, I'm crying in drawdown. I have to be careful, because I'm sure he's picked up on when I'm losing a trade and I am irate.
Yeah.
I actually remember being in the kitchen with my mom, being pregnant with my son, and I was mad that I just lost a trade. And I was like, damn it. And my mom's like, your son can hear you. I was like, I'm trading, son, rubbing my stomach. So, I know he's picking up on it, and it would be a dream if he did it, because you want your kids to be better than you. I don't care what anyone says. And if I can shorten the learning curve, if he desires to go that route, I want to do that, because this is a long, painful journey. I know if I probably had gotten a mentor, it probably wouldn't have taken me 3 years to find profitability. But I know at this point, if the more simple you make things, the better it's going to go. So I want to cut off all that weirdness that we've all had to go through trying to figuring this out on our own.
Yeah, yeah. It's very interesting you said that. I've done one additional interview outside of this, related with another mother within the community, and she said very similar to you that as a parent, you want to help your children out as much as you can because at the end of the day, life will always throw a level of challenge. That's just a non-negotiable. Like it's something that no one is immune to, but you can prepare them with the tools to navigate the challenges that they do face. And if it's not financial challenge, then it's something else. It's one of those things that if you can prepare them in one avenue, it could potentially and most likely help them with the other challenges that they're bound to face.
Absolutely. Well, that's one thing I will say is like my parents were extremely big on us pursuing entrepreneurship from a young age. Said I'm a twin, I have an older brother and I have a little sister, and I could actually recall us each having a task to sell something in our neighborhood. So I sold lip glosses. I'd go door to door and be like, my mommy can fix your face. My mom tells that story all the time from a very, very young age because they wanted us to understand the value of money and the means that it would create. And when you combine the means and a spiritual journey with God, like there's nothing that can compete with that. And the freedom that I have with both now is insane. Like it's invaluable.
I love that. There's going to be so many different types of people tuning into this interview. They're going to be either maybe I always love to express that this could honestly be someone's first exposure to what trading is like at all the way to someone who is a seasoned veteran, people within our Discord community, men, women, mothers, fathers, but specifically to the other mamas out there who are looking either to get into trading or maybe they're in the middle of juggling both, gaining profitability while also taking care of their children. What piece of advice would you give those mamas?
Make trading work for you, not the other way around. Like I said, I only trade New York session. I trade in a window of New York session open, which is 9:30 all the way to 10:40. If I'm not satisfied with that result, there's a break in between time and I don't take another trade until 2 p.m. But typically I am done by 10:40 unless that trade is being held. I'm not taking another position because I have to, do nap time. I have to do lunchtime. I have a husband I have to take care of too. So I'm not going to let trading run my life because if that's the case, I might as well go back to work. So I think that's the most important thing. So if you know that my son co-sleeps at the moment, we're working on that. But if I know I could put my son in his own bed and wiggle out of bed at 4:00 in the morning for London session, I would do it. And that is the case for some mothers. So if that's the schedule that you can get some peace and quiet, that's what you need to go for. But if it's the other way around, like my situation, my son still has access to me during the trading day. Make it creative. My son has a trampoline in his room where my desk actually is, and I can zip it up, put him in there. He's jumping, he's watching TV, and I'm on my charts. You got to make it work for you. And just not, I think that's just for every trader. Stop comparing yourself with other people. I actually learned a very hard lesson recently. Have had pretty great success in the last couple months trading. Did really monumental milestones for myself in the last 2 months alone. And that came with ebbs and flows. And because I was looking at, oh, well, this notariable trader is looking at me. Now I got to perform even better. It's just like, at the end of the day, these people don't care about you. This is a solo journey that you should be taking one foot at a time. And the moment you start looking left, you're going to fall off. And I've learned that several times. So just keeping your head down and focusing on your own journey and making it work for you.
I love that. That's applicable to mothers and literally anyone that's tuning into this. I want to say thank you so much. And I want to also give you your flowers because at the end of the day, trading is difficult. I will say it's easy. It's easy, but it's not simple. And it requires, a level of time, energy, effort, discipline, consistency that is often, I don't want to say it's overlooked, but I just feel like it's not talked about enough. And
Yeah.
to do that and to be able to succeed in this realm and also to succeed as a mother is, again, I just commend you so much. And yeah, absolutely. And I am so excited for the day when I can say that I am a mother who trades, but right now I'm just a woman who trades.
That's all right. Because I would say don't rush it.
Yeah, yeah,
I think for me also, I'm struggling to find a balance right now. It's what every mother who trades is going to
sure.
go through. I mean, I am obsessed with the charts. I'm not afraid to admit that, but that you have to still set aside time for you. And I think that's something mothers as a whole is missing, especially
Mm,
mothers who trade. It's easy to just be on your phone and either be nursing or laying with your son or daughter and looking at the charts. But
yeah.
I think that's one thing that I would oblige any parent who trades to look into, doing something that's not involving looking at your screen. Because if you're on your phone 9 times out of 10, you're going to trading view. And I think that's the big thing that I'm working on right now on this journey.
Wonderful. Hope, if you don't mind, can you let people know where they can find you online?
Yeah, so I document my journey on Twitter.
Okay.
My username is Hope K Trades, and that's about all you guys will find me at right now.
Perfect. Yeah, we'll put that in the description below. Again, I just want to say thank you so much for this interview and to agreeing to do this. Hope is also within the top tier trader Discord community as well. And I love that we're able to do this for the entire month of May, not just on one day. So if you've gained value from this interview, make sure to leave a comment for us below. I love going through and reading them, and maybe Hope can take the time to do so as well. And don't forget, traders, to subscribe to the Top Tier YouTube channel because every single Friday we're releasing new interviews. Today it's from the comfort of my home. Next might be in the studio. We might be, who knows where we'll be next time. But thank you all so much for tuning in. And again, Hope, thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you for having me.
Awesome. Bye everyone.